For years, fans have compared Amerie and Beyoncé, pointing to similarities in certain songs, performances, and visual styles. The discussion has never completely disappeared, but recently, it started trending all over social media once again. Some fans believe Amerie never received the recognition she deserved. Others argue that comparisons between the two artists have been exaggerated over the years. And now, old interviews, music videos, and online clips are being shared by millions of people, reigniting one of the internet's longest-running R&B debates. So what's really going on? Did Amerie actually address these comparisons? What has she publicly said over the years? And how much of the viral conversation is based on verified interviews versus fan speculation? In today's video, we're going back to the beginning. We'll examine the timeline of both artists' careers, revisit the public comments that have fueled this discussion, and separate documented facts from internet rumors. We'll also explore why this debate continues to capture attention more than 2 decades after it first began. Whether you're Team Amerie, Team Beyoncé, or simply curious about why this conversation keeps returning, this video will provide the context behind the headlines. Stay with us until the very end, because the full story is far more nuanced than the viral posts suggest. Sometimes the biggest entertainment debates aren't about proving one person right or wrong. They're about understanding how narratives develop, how fans shape public conversations, and why certain stories continue to trend years after they first began. Some debates in music disappear after a few weeks. Others last for decades. And when it comes to R&B, few discussions have continued resurfacing as often as the comparisons between Amerie and Beyoncé. For years, fans have argued online about similarities in songs, choreography, music videos, fashion, and overall artistic direction. Every few months, an old interview goes viral, a classic music video starts trending again, or a fan creates a side-by-side comparison that reignites the conversation. Suddenly, millions of people are asking the same question. How did this debate begin in the first place? To understand why this conversation refuses to fade away, we have to go back to the early 2000s. It was a different era for music. R&B and hip-hop were dominating the charts. MTV and BET still played a major role in breaking new artists. Music videos were cultural events. CD sales remained incredibly strong, and artists competed for attention in an industry that was changing rapidly. During that time, both Amerie and Beyoncé were building successful careers. Beyoncé was transitioning from being the lead singer of one of the world's biggest girl groups into a solo superstar. Her debut solo work established her as one of the most recognizable voices in popular music, and audiences quickly embraced her as a global performer. Around the same period, Amerie emerged with a distinctive sound that blended contemporary R&B with energetic percussion and soulful melodies. Working closely with producer Rich Harrison, she developed a musical identity that many listeners immediately recognized as fresh and different. Then came one of the defining records of her career. Its driving rhythm, layered percussion, and unforgettable energy helped make it one of the standout R&B hits of the decade. Fans praised its originality. Critics applauded its production. The song became one of Amerie's signature records. Years later, online comparisons began focusing on similarities between certain production styles used in different songs by various artists. Fans debated whether those similarities reflected shared creative influences, common production trends, or simply the signature sound of producers working in the same era. That distinction is important. Music history is full of artists who influence one another. Genres evolve by borrowing ideas, experimenting with new sounds, and building upon previous innovations. Jazz influenced soul. Soul influenced funk. Funk influenced hip-hop. Hip-hop influenced modern pop. Creative inspiration has always been part of the music industry. Because of that, similarities alone don't necessarily indicate copying. Another reason these discussions continue is the internet itself. Social media makes it easy to place two performances side by side, compare short clips, and encourage viewers to reach quick conclusions. A 30-second video can generate millions of views. Thousands of comments appear within hours. Before long, the discussion becomes larger than the original performances being compared. That's exactly what has happened over the years with Amerie and Beyoncé. Some fans strongly support one artist. Others defend the other. Many simply enjoy revisiting classic R&B music from an unforgettable era. The conversation continues because both artists made significant contributions to popular music. Amerie earned recognition for her distinctive vocal style and memorable records. Beyoncé continued building one of the most successful careers in modern music through acclaimed albums, live performances, and business ventures. Their achievements stand on their own. Yet comparisons persist because audiences naturally look for connections between artists working in similar genres during the same time period. Another factor is nostalgia. Many listeners who grew up during the early 2000s have fond memories of that era. When classic songs return to social media through reaction videos or anniversary posts, long-standing debates often return with them. Younger audiences discover the music for the first time. Older fans revisit familiar arguments. The cycle begins again. One of the biggest lessons from this discussion is the importance of context. Music production often involves collaborations among writers, producers, choreographers, directors, stylists, and creative teams. Understanding who contributed to a project provides a more complete picture than assuming every artistic decision came from a single individual. It's also worth remembering that trends influence multiple artists simultaneously. Fashion evolves. Dance styles change. Production techniques become popular. Visual aesthetics move in cycles. When several artists embrace similar creative directions, comparisons naturally follow, even when no direct connection exists. As we continue this documentary, we'll focus on public interviews, documented timelines, and verified information rather than internet speculation. Because the real story isn't about choosing sides. It's about understanding why this debate has remained one of the most talked about conversations in R&B history. As the years passed, something unexpected happened. Instead of disappearing, the comparisons between Amerie and Beyoncé seemed to return every few months. A clip from an old interview would suddenly trend on social media. A fan would upload a side-by-side comparison of music videos. Another creator would revisit performances from the early 2000s. Within hours, millions of people were discussing a debate that had started decades earlier. But one question kept coming up. What has Amerie actually said? That's where the story becomes much more interesting than many of the headlines suggest. Over the years, Amerie has occasionally been asked about the comparisons in interviews. Rather than fueling controversy, she has generally emphasized focusing on her own music and career instead of getting caught up in internet debates. She has also expressed appreciation for the fans who continue supporting her work years after her biggest hits. Those comments often receive far less attention than dramatic social media headlines.
Why?
Because controversy spreads faster than nuance. A calm interview explaining an artist's perspective rarely attracts as many clicks as a headline suggesting a rivalry. Social media algorithms reward content that generates strong reactions, and nothing sparks engagement quite like a celebrity comparison. That's why context is so important. Many viral posts remove quotes from their original interviews or present only a few seconds of a much longer conversation. Watching the complete interview often reveals a more balanced perspective than the short clips circulating online. Another factor that keeps this debate alive is the role of producers and creative collaborators. Music isn't created in isolation. Behind every successful song are producers, writers, musicians, engineers, choreographers, directors, stylists, and many others. During the early 2000s, some creative teams worked with multiple artists, and certain production styles became especially influential across the industry. That doesn't necessarily mean one artist copied another. It often reflects broader musical trends and shared creative influences. The same pattern appears throughout music history. Entire eras can be recognized by similar drum sounds, vocal styles, fashion choices, or video aesthetics. Artists working at the same time frequently draw inspiration from the same cultural movements while still developing their own unique identities. That's one reason comparisons can be both interesting and misleading. They may highlight similarities while overlooking the many differences that define each artist's work. For example, Amerie built a reputation for energetic rhythms, soulful vocals, and a distinctive musical style that earned her a dedicated fan base. Beyoncé, meanwhile, continued expanding her artistry across multiple genres, becoming known for ambitious visual projects, live performances, and an extensive catalog of chart-topping music. Both artists contributed meaningfully to R&B and popular music. Yet online discussions often frame the conversation as if only one artist can receive credit. In reality, music history is rarely that simple. As younger audiences discover songs from the early 2000s through streaming services and social media, these comparisons continue reaching new generations of listeners. Some hear the music for the first time and naturally ask questions about the similarities they've noticed. Those conversations are part of what keeps classic music alive. The key is approaching them with curiosity rather than assumptions. Looking at complete interviews, understanding the role of producers, and recognizing how musical trends develop over time provides a much clearer picture than relying solely on viral clips. As the discussion continued, it became clear that the biggest story wasn't necessarily the comparison itself. It was the way the internet had transformed an old debate into a recurring viral topic that keeps returning year after year. And that raises an even bigger question. Why do some music debates never seem to end? By now, one thing had become obvious. This wasn't just a conversation about two artists anymore. It had become a conversation about how the internet keeps old music debates alive. Every few months, the same discussion seems to return. Someone uploads an old music video. Another person shares a classic award show performance. A reaction channel posts a side-by-side comparison. Within hours, thousands of comments appear, and suddenly a debate from more than 20 years ago is trending again.
But why?
The answer has as much to do with social media as it does with music. Today's algorithms are designed to promote content that generates engagement. If a video receives a large number of views, comments, shares, and reactions in a short period of time, platforms are more likely to recommend it to even more people. That creates a cycle. One creator uploads a comparison. Another creator reacts to it. A third creator analyzes both videos. Then fans begin debating in the comments. Before long, millions of people are discussing the same topic, even though there may not be any new information. That's how many celebrity stories continue long after the original events. Another major reason this discussion survives is nostalgia. The early 2000s remain one of the most beloved eras in R&B and pop music. Many fans grew up listening to those songs. They remember buying CDs, watching music countdown shows, and waiting for new videos to premiere on television. When those songs resurface today, they bring back memories. Younger listeners discover them for the first time, while longtime fans revisit conversations they've had for years. That's one reason these debates rarely disappear completely. They're connected to an era people still love. There's also another factor that often gets overlooked. Music evolves through collaboration. Behind every successful album is a team of producers, songwriters, musicians, choreographers, creative directors, stylists, engineers, photographers, and countless other professionals. Ideas influence one another. Styles evolve. Genres borrow from previous generations. Throughout music history, artists have inspired each other while still creating unique work. That's why similarities between songs or visuals don't automatically prove one artist copied another. Creative industries frequently move in trends. Certain production styles become popular. Specific dance techniques become fashionable. Visual aesthetics spread throughout the industry. Multiple artists may embrace similar ideas while developing them in different ways. Understanding that broader context helps explain why comparisons happen so often. Another important point is that both Amerie and Beyoncé have built careers with their own accomplishments. Amerie earned recognition for her distinctive voice, energetic production, and memorable records that continue to resonate with fans today. Beyoncé has built one of the most successful careers in modern music, earning widespread acclaim for her performances, albums, and artistic evolution. Those achievements can both be recognized without reducing the conversation to a simple rivalry. Ultimately, the biggest lesson from this story isn't about deciding who is right or wrong. It's about understanding how narratives grow online. A short clip becomes a viral post. A viral post becomes a trending topic. A trending topic becomes a headline. And before long, millions of people are discussing a story that may be far more complicated than the internet makes it appear. That's why looking at complete interviews, original sources, and documented history is always more valuable than relying on short clips or dramatic headlines. As this discussion demonstrates, the internet has an incredible ability to revive old conversations, but it's up to viewers to decide whether they're following the facts or simply following the trend. As we come to the end of the story, it's worth asking one final question. Why are people still talking about this more than 20 years later? The answer isn't simply because two artists were compared. It's because both Amerie and Beyoncé helped define an era of R&B that millions of fans still celebrate today. Music has a unique way of bringing people together, but it also inspires endless conversations. Fans compare albums, performances, music videos, producers, fashion, choreography, and artistic direction. Those discussions are part of what keeps classic music alive. Over the years, countless side-by-side videos, reaction channels, and social media threads have revisited this debate. Every time an old interview resurfaces or a classic song trends online, a new generation of listeners discovers the conversation for the first time. That's the power of the internet. Stories that once would have faded away can now return overnight. A single viral clip can introduce millions of people to an event that happened decades earlier. But that's also why context matters more than ever. When we look beyond short clips and dramatic headlines, we often find a much more complete picture. Music is collaborative. Artists work alongside producers, writers, choreographers, directors, musicians, and creative teams. Throughout history, genres have evolved because artists inspired one another, experimented with new ideas, and pushed creative boundaries. That process has always been part of the music industry. It's one reason why similarities alone don't tell the entire story. Another important lesson is how quickly online narratives develop. One fan posts an opinion. Another creator reacts. Reaction videos multiply. Soon, millions of people are discussing the same topic, even if no new facts have emerged. That's why taking the time to explore original interviews, reliable reporting, and the broader historical context leads to a much better understanding than relying on viral posts alone. As for the artists themselves, both have left meaningful marks on music. Amerie's distinctive sound, memorable recordings, and influence continue to be appreciated by fans who revisit her work years after its release. Beyoncé has built a remarkable career through acclaimed albums, live performances, and artistic evolution, becoming one of the most recognized performers of her generation. Those accomplishments exist regardless of internet debates. In many ways, that's the biggest takeaway. The conversation isn't really about choosing sides. It's about appreciating music history, understanding how creative trends develop, and recognizing the importance of evaluating claims carefully before accepting them as fact. As social media continues shaping the way we consume entertainment news, these skills become increasingly valuable. The next viral debate will almost certainly arrive. The next comparison will trend. The next headline will spark millions of comments. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching all the way to the end. We really appreciate every single one of you who takes the time to support the channel. Now we want to hear your thoughts. What's your opinion on the long-running comparisons between Amerie and Beyoncé? Do you think social media sometimes revives old debates without adding new facts, or do these conversations help people rediscover great music? Let us know in the comments below. We read your comments every day, and some of the best ones may even be featured in a future video. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth celebrity news, music history, and entertainment analysis, don't forget to smash that like button. Let's see if we can hit 10,000 likes on this video. Every like helps our videos reach more people and allows us to keep creating the content you love. If you're new to the channel, this is the perfect time to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. We cover the biggest stories in music, celebrity news, viral moments, and pop culture, always taking a closer look at what's actually been reported and separating facts from online rumors. We've got more exciting videos coming your way, including deep dives into iconic artists, trending entertainment stories, and the biggest moments making headlines across the internet. And if you know someone who loves R&B or follows music history, share this video with them and keep the conversation going. The bigger our community grows, the more amazing content we can bring you every single week. Thank you again for your incredible support. Every view, every like, every comment, and every subscription truly means the world to us. Until next time, stay curious, keep enjoying the music, and remember, the full story is often much bigger than the headline. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.